I'm not here on this camp, I'm not there at LabCorp to stitch people up, to gather intelligence. I'm not allowed to gather intelligence, and just as well really, because I can never be blamed for doing that.
We've been here since last year. We're outside MBR Acres, which is a puppy breeding facility for the vivisection industry. The puppies leave here at 16 weeks old. They end up in toxicology labs like LabCorp, where we've just been. And they end up dying within 3 months, horrifically. They're contracted to big pharmaceutical companies, agriculture, that sort of thing. Last week, 2 van loads, 2 separate shipments of puppies went out on the same day. Probably about 50, 60 puppies. They'll all be dead within 3 months. You can see along there, there's our camp there. We've got our 2 big army tents that were generously donated to us by a supporter. That camper van was donated by Alan Davies, the comedian. And at the end of the tent there is a welcome tent where we have talks. People come along and do, prominent people in the movement come along, do talks. It's also where we store a lot of our information, leaflets, that sort of thing. We've got a kitchen tent there, living tent there. That's another storage tent. We've got another camper at the end there, which was donated by an animal sanctuary, so more people can stay. But come on in.
So have they never said anything about using the easement for your tents?
About using
the land here for your tents?
The actual land is owned by the Highways Agency, and the Highways Agency are on board with us.
Okay.
The guy's a really nice guy. As long as we follow his rules, which we've done, if he wants that cone moved, we'll move it. He supplied all the barriers for us. He supplied this big barrier here. As long as we comply, then he's happy for us to be here. So. RAF Wyton, which is just down there. There's also one of those helicopter bases for the medics. I forgot what they're called. Just literally down the road. This here is just the front of it. I mean, if you look on Google Maps, it's massive.
Right.
I'll take you down the side. You might be able to hear the dogs as well.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take the drone up as well. You say that this is no restriction on this site for drones?
There isn't any flight restrictions on this. They're trying to do that on the injunction.
Everybody who comes here, there's always something, obviously the passion, but they're very interesting, unusual people, families. I've been here since October. My dog's died actually here, he was an little activist. And there's lovely people, like I say. They'll turn up for 7:10 in the morning when the staff go in, maybe 10, 16, 21, 30s, and then we wait till they go out. Sometimes 3 o'clock if the Impex vans come, they have a perk where they can come out an hour earlier, or they'll come out at 4.
The Impex vans are the vans that come and collect the dogs, but then take them to places like LabCorp where we were this morning.
Right, okay.
Deaf vans, yeah.
Have you seen any of those deaf vans today?
No, but we have an understanding now that if we see 4 liaison officers, they're going to give us maybe an estimated time that the deaf vans are coming, if we haven't seen anything on the drone for ourselves.
Right, okay.
Which isn't nice to hear, but it's not as bad as the way that them riot vans used to turn up like mafia gangsters, 16 coppers within 5 minutes,
So do you feel that your presence here has slowed their business down a little bit?
Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
It's compromised them economically.
Yeah.
And because they won't move dogs without the police to facilitate it, obviously the police aren't going to turn up every day.
Yeah.
So I think it's lessened the amount of dogs they transport out.
Great, isn't it?
We think
what
they
an
might
effect.
be doing more on the inside because they've got a bleeding licence.
Right.
And they can terminally bleed dogs.
A bleeding licence?
Yeah. And they sell fresh blood to laboratories.
Wow.
It's what they call terminal anaesthesia.
Yeah, they do it without anaesthesia as well. They do a cardiac puncture, and it's not a trained veterinary professional, it's someone who works there who's just been trained to do it. And it takes an hour for the dog to die. They insert a cannula into the heart and they literally drain the blood off them. It takes an hour.
And from the freedom of information, we've also got we've seen that one dog's had 174 bleeds out, just one dog alone. They also get groomed in there, so they get groomed, give us your paw and they'll take the blood. Head up to put the tubes down and to lay on your back for the injection in the heart.
They're trained to be the
Bad in there, bad.
We actually have staff who do like training for the dogs to make them basically products for laboratories, because when the laboratory receives them, they know how to give a paw. To give they know
called a
how
Marshall
to have
Beagle.
And they're smaller than an average beagle, so they're obviously easier to handle.
They can enlarge their hearts, their liver, their kid, whatever the client wants. These lot will breed them for them.
Tailor-made breed.
Tailor-made
ready.
dogs. Yep.
They will lie on their back for you, stay still, so you can do
The
whatever.
loveliest dogs, yeah.
They're the most placid breed of dogs. It's why they use
Yeah.
beagles, because beagles will not fight back or bite back like every other breed. You do that to an Alsatian, a Doberman, they'll bite you.
Or a chihuahua.
Or a Chihuahua. If they do it to a beagle, it'll just sit there, and they're taught from birth to hold their paw out, to put their mouth out, like these ladies were saying, you know. It's a horrendous business. And where we was this morning at LabCorp is where they end up.
Yeah, that's a customer of this
Yeah,
place.
and it's a customer of this place. They sell these dogs at $2,000 a time, you know, at least, you know, per dog, because, you know, money's no object to this industry, you know. It's
They
just,
also, sorry, I didn't mean to cut in. They also perform cordectomies on site. A client can actually request a dog that can't bark. So if you're really hurting it and inflicting pain on it, the dog's voiceless, and they actually do a procedure on this site to stop them from barking. It's debarking them. It's actually called a cordectomy. And that actually happens on site.
Wow.
We've got a vet room on site.
And this is all lawful, is it?
Yeah, because under the Animal Scientific Procedures Act, you can do anything to an animal. They're not covered by the Animal Welfare Act. So if I got my dog at home, and if I did something to inflict pain on him, I would get prosecuted for animal cruelty. But you can do things then for scientific purposes, and no one will, batter an eyelid.
Yeah. So why is it that they get away with it and we don't?
Home Office governs it, so it's all secretive.
There's a lot of their stuff still pending.
Yeah.
You come across it, all these different acts and that, and some of them say pending for 10 years on them. They make their mind up.
this is the only licensed, Home Office licensed puppy breeding facility for the vivisection industry in the UK.
Oh,
Pretty
really?
Patel signs off each consignment of dogs. They treat these dogs like supermarket products.
Wow. So it's the only one in the UK.
Let me just explain that sign to you. That was vandalised by somebody the other day. Well, about 4 a.m. We don't know who it was, but obviously somebody with an absolute disdain for what goes on in there.
Yeah.
But the scientists, I mean, obviously, you know, this is the darkest and blackest of all crimes. But these scientists as well, from what I've heard, they have basically a tick box sheet when they're doing their experiments, and it's from a ratio of 0 to 10 for the pain. So if at the beginning or even before the experiment they'll maybe circle the number 2, for instance, if during that procedure, if that experiment they change their mind, they want to do a 10, they can, and they've just got to write a note on the sheet what goes in the drawer.
It seems bizarre, doesn't it?
And then they'll just get another dog out, like going shopping.
Yeah.
You know,
disposable.
We need a fresh dog.
Yeah.
You know?
But they still do repeat ones, don't they,
Yeah,
as well,
yeah.
on the dogs?
Yeah.
And they have a blood colony in there as well. So they use ex-breeding dogs like the stud dogs and the brood bitches.
Yeah.
And in the breeding shed, which is called the whelping shed down the bottom,
Right.
they've got automatic feeding systems on the side. So those dogs are in there for years and they never see daylight. They don't even get someone to go in there with a bit of food. They literally put kibble in a chute and it just shoots out.
Wow.
Like in a
Onto the
chicken
floor
farm.
where the
Yeah.
poo
And then when they leave here today at 4 o'clock,
Yeah.
them dogs are left on their own until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. 20 hours, and they think that's acceptable to leave puppies that are, I mean, you might hear them now. When I take you down the side, you might hear them more. You know, I say hopefully that you'll hear them, because then you'll experience the smell, and you know.
Let's go and have a
So
look.
you can show your viewers.
I think the lonely ones I hear of the night, possibly this is what my thought is that they've been in that 12 by 12 room on their own, giving blood, and they can't actually mix with the others. And I mean, if they're going to give blood maybe over 100 times, and that they're in the room for a while, and you just hear them overnight, these one lonely ones on their own and that.
And some of these
And they have rape stands and everything, from what I've heard. in there.
Of what stands?
Rape stands to breed. only the company before it, Harlan,
Yeah.
someone we know did work in there, and they had them then. With them buying Marshall, Scott Marshall buying the company, he probably took over everything, but he did take over the dogs, but because they weren't Marshall brands, he euthanised a lot.
Yeah,
Started
that's
his
right.
own.
So when they took over in 2017,
Yeah.
right, they euthanised every dog in there so they could start their own fresh breed of dogs.
Right.
You know, if you went over that fence now and went in those sheds, and obviously you'll get caught, you won't get very far, we're in the middle of nowhere, they'll euthanise the dogs because they're now dirty, contaminated dogs, you know, from the outside world.
Well, I actually have seen for myself workmen pulling up in the car park in there, they're putting the suits on, they're putting stuff over the shoes, and then they're actually walking across the gritted car park, and they'll go into the doors as if they're clean and that, but they've got all guys on the feet.
Yeah.
You know, but supposed to be pathology free.
Yeah. Maybe they should be doing that just
I-
before they walk in the door.
I
and
log
not-
every vehicle in and out of there,
Yeah.
and
Do they hide the
sometimes
number
you
plates
wonder
here?
if they got even private clients just maybe buying 6 dogs or something.
They
'Cause
do
you
that
don't
as well.
know.
They sell
You
dogs.
don't know.
Right.
This is it, you see.
We're not sure about that one, but it's quite possible, isn't it? You know, this
They have the
industry
smaller
is
experiments.
profit driven. You know, it's nothing to do with science. We've proved the science is fraudulent. It's a tick box toxicology test. That's all it is.
Yeah.
You bring out a new drug, by law, you have to test that on 2 different types of animal, and one of them is a dog. And it's usually these beagles.
In case you get sued.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the
You
best?
know,
Something
so you know,
So it's that part needs to change, and it will stop
it's the
driving
law
this.
we need to change. Yeah,
yeah.
and the petition link that you're going to add for us is what we need people to sign to force a debate in Parliament.
Yeah.
You know, we need we have to start somewhere, and we're doing this lawful. We're a lawful protest camp. We're the longest standing lawful protest camp in history so far.
And
Yeah.
we're amazing.
And there's alternatives.
Amazing.
There's alternatives.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Everybody
makes
here
it
is
worse,
amazing.
during lockdown, Oxford University was using the alternative method. One of them, the organ on the chip.
Right.
With the seminars on the Zoom with the students. And then after lockdown, they reversed back to the animals.
So it's been proven that there's an alternative,
yeah.
but because the procedure is set in stone.
Yeah.
Cheaper.
This
Cheaper
might
to
be
use
it.
animals.
Oh, it's cheaper to use this way.
Possibly
Right.
it,
Okay.
Yeah, and I thought that
It's
convenience.
fraudulent science. Like,
Possibly.
it's just
Okay.
the cheapest way to perform and conduct experiments. They don't even call those dogs, they call them models.
Really? They call them models.
As
So
well, yeah.
you could, if you were a client, if you were a university laboratory or a commercial laboratory like LabCorp or Sequano, is it Sequano?
Yeah.
I can never pronounce it.
Sequani.
They would order like so many models, and
Right.
then they'd almost order them like you were ordering like a car. You know, like how you have modifications and stuff. They could order dogs with 3 legs, and they would breed them for them if they wanted them for an experiment. Because there's no welfare involved, it's all about money.
There's a laboratory actually on the site as well called Churchill. There's 3 staff, and they say they do non-animal research, but the deliveries I've seen for them and I've researched, it's stem celling, which I've looked up on Jova, on the Vivisection Worldwide site A to Z, and stem celling is brain slices on ice.
Right.
So, you know, there's a lot of Cruellas and Frankensteins in there,
Yeah.
and then the bigger ones again in the labs.
At the end of the day, they all play their part. You know, even the cleaner. You know, they're complicit by just going in and out of that place every day and supporting
Yeah.
that business. you
They
know.
are. Yeah. They're a
Are
part
they-
of the team.
Yeah, well, we understand they've got to earn money. We get that. Everybody has, but there's better ways of doing it
Yeah.
than this.
Okay. So we're aiming to get those 100,000 signatures, which will
Absolutely.
hopefully then bring it into the spoplight a bit more.
Debate, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's achievable, don't you?
Absolutely.
What are we on at the minute?
41,000.
41. Okay.
And yeah, anyone who wants to come down to camp and you know, maybe do live videos and things with us, really, you know.
Yeah, the more awareness.
appreciate
We're
it.
not precious round here. The more awareness that we get, the better.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
welcome anybody down to support.
Absolutely. Come down. Come and see what we're all about. Come see what we do. You know, we want to save dogs' lives and
Yeah.
end vivisection on all animals. It's as simple as that. You know.
And the postcode
And
here
we
is
own the pups and all that.
PE28 2DT.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. You can't miss
It's
us.
the
I mean,
old
if you put into Google
RAF.
the Camp Beagle, we've got a business listing on there, so it'll come up with directions and everything.
Yeah, brilliant.
Or even MBR Acres. If you put that up, you'll see that as well.
Yeah, I noticed that sign there. Right, so let's go and have a
Do you know
closer look
that
then.
sign? They didn't even have it there for a year. And
trying to stay discreet.
Most of the logistics had to actually ask the directions.
We used to send lorries up to the farms up there.
Oh, did you?
Local people used to think this was the chicken farm until we arrived.
Right.
And because they use that little quaint house as like a front.
Yeah.
It's like
That's had a demolition order on it
For years,
it's
yeah.
basically to sort of fool the public.
Thank you. Pretty beagles.
And it does, to somebody passing by that don't know better, the house looks like a farm.
Yeah.
But if you also look on the house, there's another one of those banners on there. So whose benefit is that for?
Yeah.
So who's that actually benefiting? Because it's
We won't
certainly not
put the
people
tree.
driving by at 40 miles an hour.
We won't put the trees because it's secret.
It's there to antagonise.
Yeah.
You know, it serves no purpose, does it? What's it doing up there?
That camera's quite rare, or is it missing?
It's what, sorry?
The dome camera, I can't see it. Is it,
Yeah, it's a dome camera.
is it fake or?
Oh, no, that works 100%. They can hit us now.
Is it the one that's white?
Yep, that one, that's 100% operational. There's one there, there's another one on the gate there, the little dome camera.
Yeah.
Then
They're quite
if you-
unusual, these
Yeah,
are.
but if you look across there, directly in the middle of the gate, there's more of them. There's one there, there's another one on the corner. All over this site, but this site goes back about a quarter of a mile.
Right, okay.
It's vast.
Right, I'll pause there while you show me nearer. So this is the Beagle Bridge, and you'll put that banner up yourself, have you?
Yeah.
Got some pallets going over, so we'll go down there. Oh, we're now going down some well-trodden path at the side of this place, and I can already hear the dogs barking away. Down from that way there, you've got a nice little gap in the fence here, and we can certainly hear a lot louder animals in pain, it seems. And it stinks as well of dog waste. How awful is that sound, eh? Another gap in the fence just a little bit further down. We've got some gas storage, a skip, some more warehouse type units, some fencing over there which has been tried to be blocked with the screening. So yeah, I think this is definitely one for the drone so we can see it from above. There's loads of cameras around. So there's certainly very high security here. So yeah, definitely one for the drone. So that's where we came out of, the Beagle Bridge. And I've just been told that where this chained barrier is, there's an injunction, a court injunction against these protesters. But I'm just here reporting on it, aren't I? So I'm not involved in the protest itself. But you can clearly see how it looks just like a normal farm with a building there, with some sort of advertisement on the front, and you can just see a little bit through the gate. Loads of public documents to display here. So this public notice board here with all this information is clearly there to be read by visitors like me. So any sort of injunction that they've got for the protesters, that applies to them and not people like me. Can't really see much, can you? But you wouldn't have thought from the outside, or even looking down there, that they're doing what they are doing inside here. So let's get the drone out and have a good look from above. It's unusual why this has got loads of bolts like that. Like they're worried about it being taken off, so they put extra measures to secure it.
But you're telling me you didn't stitch him up then?
I honestly, God's honest truth, did not stitch Martin up. I've never met him before. That's the first time I'd heard the name. I've heard Hemingway or Hemaway or something like that before, but never, honestly, did not stitch him up. That is not my job.
What was the question when you said, yes he is, I believe he is? You said, yes he is, or I believe he is?
I don't remember saying that.
You said yes.
Have you got it on there? You could replay it to me.
I may have, but you can't.
I don't remember. I mean, I was having 2 conversations once. I've had a
the
conversation
only
about the
reason
funeral.
I'm asking and bringing this up is because I thought you was a liaison, and you were meant to be working with us.
That's absolutely it.
And, you know, and I thought that's what your role was not to stitch us up, because that's what you've done.
But do you know if comms are on the radio to him in his ear saying, "Is Martin on site because he's wanted?"
Yeah.
As a police officer,
You have to.
to say yes, don't you?
But that question wasn't put to me.
Right. I just wondered what you
So
were
so
saying.
if I don't, I was having 2 conversations. I was having 2 conversations at once about 2 separate things. Okay. So I had, at the end of this traveller funeral yesterday that I was dealing with, I had a massive fight. I had 5 or 6 people, suspects, that are named suspects, stuff like that. It could have been a conversation about that. Then my radio goes off, then Dalton goes. I was on the phone at one point, or some time. I can't even remember what that conversation was about. But
I just had to put that to you.
Now, and you're right. If someone was to say to me, right, a copper somewhere saying, right, of course you're always there.
You're supposed to say, Tim, fuck off, run. That's what you're supposed to say.
But the thing is, if a crime happens in front of me here, I'm a police officer. It says police before it says liaison.
Yeah.
So if there's a crime that happens, if I see someone smash a car window or do something stupid, and I'd like to think you would, I would have to. I wouldn't arrest you because I don't think that's right. I'm not allowed to arrest people at this camp unless it's an Article 2, a right to life situation.
Right.
You know, so then I have to, because that's an absolute right. But if someone's like, I don't know, spray paints the gate, because it does happen, and I see someone doing that, I say, come here, you know, right, and I call it in, I've got the suspect, stuff like that, I wouldn't make that arrest. That's not my job as a PLT. If someone says to me, we've got a wanted male I think stood in front of you, this is his name, my answer to that would be, I don't know, because there's 2 people stood in front of me with face masks on. I've never seen this bloke before. But if you're saying that, you know, if someone's there blatantly, say if you were wanted for a crime, you're not, but say if you were, and you were stood in front of me and say, well, is Tim there at the moment? You know, he's wanted for blah, blah, blah. Well, yeah, he is. He's in front of me.
Did you not know Martin then before today?
Never met him.
Okay.
Never. I've heard of a surname. I've heard of his surname, various spellings or various pronunciations of it. I won't say it because, you know, I don't want it, obviously, if you come. But I didn't know there was a guy called Martin Wanted. I have never seen or interacted with anyone with his accent who looks like him down on this camp or at LabCorp. I had no idea. And when asked the question, is he there? Is someone there? I actually said to him, he said, is he there? I said, I've got 2 people sitting in front of me, and that was you and he.
Oh, so the question was asked?
Question was asked, is Martin there or something like that? And I said, I've got 2 people sitting in front of me. Which one are you talking about?
Sure,
one with a face mask. And I said, I've got 2 people sitting in front of me with face masks. And then they said, could have been, has he got a northern accent? And I said, yes, one of them has.
Okay.
So that could have been it. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, North, I don't know whether he's from north, south, good, bad, indifferent, in the middle.
Yeah. Unfortunately for you, at that moment in time, you was being used as an intelligence source. You didn't want to be, but you was out of your control.
I was being asked if someone was down there. And actually,
you've got to be honest.
If I knew for a fact that that was the guy, I'd say, yeah, he's here.
The only thing Martin didn't get is the advance warning that the van's on the way. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if you noticed, I have a couple of ways of dealing with this. I do that a lot. Now, I can't hear what's being said over my radio. Okay, my earpiece is in, but if I hear my call sign, I can just about hear it. Now, you were down there, so down at LabCorp, if I'm doing that, I can't talk to people properly. If we're having and this radio's going, I can't have a proper conversation. So I will, you must have seen me do it down there before. I'll pull it out slightly. So when we're having a conversation, so when obviously a decision's made, so the investigator who's inside LabCorp has made their mind up that it is him, maybe based on the fact that I said one of them's got a northern accent, I imagine that was probably it, then obviously a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah.
He probably called for additional cops, additional vans, and I can't remember who I was talking to, but I was stood there, I'm like, how many cars have we got here now?
I could tell you were surprised.
Yeah,
was that other constable inside that building before you arrived?
Yes.
He must have been.
Yes. So he was in there taking a statement for an unrelated matter.
But he was arrested for something historical that happened in Cambridge, because they've got it all on camera, and so
in April.
I don't know.
In April.
I know you were across the road.
That was obviously.
What was he arrested for? Did you hear what he was arrested?
Racially assault or some racially aggravated assault. said racial something, but I don't know what.
I don't know. You may have noticed, I don't know if anyone noticed, that when the police arrived and when they went over to him, I stood up on the grass verge out of the way. That to me, whether or not that's seen as, that's to me, for my own personal self, is a way of distancing myself from that. I have nothing to do with 3 police cars in a van turning up, because I can hear voices now, but I don't know what's going on. But I can't have a proper conversation with that stuffed in my ear, which is why I take it out a lot, which is actually my bad, and I'm not allowed to do that. So by all means, put it out there. I have to have that in and listening.
At the minute, you're the PLT, aren't you?
I don't care whether or not people criticise me for taking my earpiece out of it. I can hear my call sign. I'll hear it if someone goes state 0. If someone presses the orange button, I'll hear that. That to me is the important thing. What people do around me that has got nothing to do with me being on that camp, being in that area, talking to people, liaising, I don't really care if it doesn't concern me. They'll shout at me loud enough for me to hear my call sign, but I didn't hear the arrangements of what were going on, and I didn't even know Huntingdon had so many cops. I had no idea. And actually, I just at that point, you surely should know. I just stepped right back on the grass verge, and I'm like, it's nothing to do with me. This is nothing to do with me. So, and you guys that were probably around and near to the arrest when it happened, when he was arrested, you're going to know more than I knew, because you were stood there and you would have heard what he was arrested for and.
Yeah, it's just that
stuff that went on around that sort of thing.
From the moment you says he might be here to actually when the arrest happened, you knew more than anyone else that there was on the way. Surely, if you say it's potentially here, surely they're going to come.
No, so if they ask if a particular person's there, it doesn't necessarily mean that he's wanted or is going to be arrested. It might be just either matter of interest or is a particular person there or something like that. You know, it wouldn't necessarily mean he's wanted. Now, if they would have said a name that's familiar to me, and I knew that person was wanted, I'd be saying to you now, they asked me if he were there and I knew he was wanted.
Yeah.
But they flash a name by me when I've also got a whole load of other stuff and conversations going on. I think I was having quite an in-depth conversation with you and him at the time, and they're asking me if someone I'm talking to is a name that I've never heard of. I'm like, well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he's wearing a face mask, he's in front of you. I've got 2 people stood in front of me. And it was all kind of, and then at that point is when I did the ear flick, and I think I had a phone call that I ignored as well, because I'm not there, I'm not here on this camp, I'm not there at LabCorp to stitch people up, to gather intelligence. I'm not allowed to gather intelligence, and just as well really, because I can never be blamed for doing that. And if I were, what kind of position does that put me in? So I get. Oh, it's so and so. Yes, so and so's here. And
I think the
and all
problem is
that.
that
It's just
the
a
last
trust breaks down.
liaison did stitch somebody up that we had.
Yeah. I've heard some horror stories. I've heard some horror stories in the past about the police, the way they deal with protests, about the way they deal with people and stuff like that. I am part of the police, of course I am, because it says police on the thing. Though my day job is as a neighbourhood policing officer. But while I'm down here on this camp, my business, or whether I'm on LabCorp or not, my business is this side of the wire. My business is to make sure that you guys have your protest, that it goes peacefully, that the police don't overreact to situations, which is what we've seen before in the past. And actually we're starting to pull that right back now, minimum staff on particular days and stuff like that. At LabCorp this morning, I stood right in front of Luna when she got assaulted by that person, and I will provide a statement to say that I've been there and I saw that and exactly what I saw. So that's the point in me, okay, to walk that line, and it's difficult sometimes to walk that line right down the middle. We have peaceful protests, you have your rights, 9, 10, 11 of the convention, you have those, okay, they're not absolute, okay, they're qualified rights. They can be changed and adjusted if there's potential of crime, disorder, that kind of thing. But as far as I'm concerned, while this is a peaceful protest, which means lawful, it's absolutely fine to stay. I won't intervene. I'm not interested in vehicle indexes. I'm not interested in people's real names. I'm not interested in people's names. I don't need to know that. Why do I need to know what people's names are in order for me to come down, say hello and make sure everyone's all right and make sure the police are doing their job? And take representations from this camp to my gold and silver commander to say, I think we could maybe change things a little bit, the way we police it. And massive changes have happened around here in terms of the way it's policed. Big changes, and most of them suggestions, in fact all of them, have come from this camp, of the way that we police it. And it's working. And I don't want to change that by people thinking that I'm standing there grassing people up, putting intel on and sneaking around. We don't have intelligence officers in Cambridgeshire that deal with protests. We just don't have them.
Well, you never know, because we're never going to get the even a subject access request would not get that call, would it?
I don't think it would do, actually. It might do. It could be worth a go if you really need it.
It's not that. It's Martin was talking to you about. It feels like the police are not on his side. The vehicles coming out with those blanked out number plates.
Yeah.
He doesn't see the police looking after us when they're blatantly breaking the law. So, and then for Martin to then be arrested, it's just a shame, that's all. I'm here to help that bridge be built.
I would have rather that not have happened.
Yeah, I know, I can see it.
You are the lowest of the land! You scumbag! You're the lowest of ugly! Fuck off!
Grinning away.
How many staff do they have in there?
Depends. Sometimes they've had like 22, and then other times on weekends they'll probably have like 2 in, because they'll leave the dogs for like up to like, it was 21 hours at one point.
Isn't there a ratio of human to dog that they must have?
No, they're on average. On average, like you know, in the week time, if I average it out, probably like 10 to 15, like 13, 14 sometimes.
Right. And how many dogs would you say is on site?
Could be 1,000.
1,000 to 15.
They have automatic feeders in there that they put their head in, and they don't have water bowls. They have basically, you know, like sort of like.
You don't want to be on camera, do you? No, okay.
Not particularly.
Yeah. Because you're saying some good stuff.
Yeah, they have. It's like hamster like feeders, sort of drinker things.
Yeah.
Like, it's like a nipple that they've. So they don't know how to lap. They only know how to like suck on basically like a nipple, which they use for like obviously farm animals and stuff like that. It's really messed up. Really messed up.
All right. Thank you. I'm going to take the drone over now. We've actually got 2 authorisation zones nearby.
Talk to me or the camera?
Camera.
Okay, I'll set up. I hate when people read my stuff.
So we've just clicked unlock. So let's do it properly. We'll put our phone number in to unlock these zones. I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Normally it's confirmed instantly, but it can take a while. 313418. So there you go. We unlocked the restriction immediately. Unlocking successful. It says just there, look. Unlocking successful. So, check that we're on. Yep, we're on. Let's have a look over MBR Acres Limited. And we've got 2 members of the security team coming to the gate right now, on the other side of the gate. So I wonder if they're actually coming out to say hello to us.
There's movement, everybody. Yeah.
No, they've turned left. They're going into the building behind the house, the fake house. That must be where security's based then, in that little bit there, with the windows open. And that house, look, that's got a demolition order, they say. So it should not even be there. Is that right? It's got a demolition order on that building there?
Yeah, it's been on there for 30 plus years.
So why is it still there?
We are not sure, but if you look on land registry, you can see all this.
So let's go and have a look around. What's that? Some extraction there, powered by some sort of diesel motor blower. Yeah, it's very long, isn't it? And that's the vehicles that transport the puppies with the air conditioning on the back. And this is the area that was screened off when we went in the bushes, and they've got an additional screen in that area there. It's even got a slide, isn't it? Is that where they do exercise? Does anyone know anything
They don't
about it?
actually do any it's a show pen, they never use it, it's just for home office inspections.
You're joking?
No, oh, we sometimes have a staff picnic in there. But no, the dogs never get to see it, none of them. Their paws don't touch the outside world ever. Even when they move them onto vans, they wheel them in cages.
Right. Is it them sort of cages there that they move the dogs in?
Yeah. There'll be a shipment out soon for the laboratory.
What about those little blue things there? Is that for feed?
All of you look.
Are they the trolleys? Yeah, they're all clear all this shit. And
Oh, right, okay.
Let me just go and get a shot of you. Can I go over your shoulder while you've got that on?
Of course, yeah. So there's not many cars in there at all, is there? So there's only 4 vehicles. So where are all the staff parked?
How many staff have gone in today?
There was about 11 cars, but they're parked in different places where they're not where they usually park.
One's already left. No, 2 have already left.
Yeah, they're not parked where they usually
Can you hear the dogs? You can hear the dogs.
And what about these properties? Is that where?
That's Churchill's. That's the company that we were telling you about.
Right.
That do stem cell, bloods, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Wow, what the hell? Hell, I tell you I can't read you. You're going to come off with some flapjack now or something like that? No. Right, okay.
And it goes all the way back here as well.
I have some yesterday. As I was saying earlier, 1 minute she's working out how to knock all my teeth out, wanted to know which one's the one knocking out. 5 minutes later she comes out with a flapjack. Says, I have some flapjack. How am I supposed to...
Isn't that some dog muck on the floor there?
That's where they load the dogs in the loading bays when they go out. Is there people there? I can't see, put my glasses on.
No, there's no dog waste on the floor at all, is there?
That's the little play areas, by the way. But they never go out into those little play areas.
Right.
We've been here, yeah, and they've never used one. Inspection.
Or a show.
Yeah.
So they have to have them there?
Well, they'll pretend they use them. When they have an inspector around, they'll stick a dog in it and pretend it gets used.
I remember the chance, Carol, but I'm
You never
going
have an
anyway.
inspector, do they?
And that's another emergency exit down the back, is it?
Well, we've never seen them use that, but that is, yeah, potentially an escape route. We did think they were sneaking dogs out there because they went 14 weeks without sending dogs out, which is highly unusual. But then we found out that they were sneaking them out at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, hence our cameras that we all monitor when we're not here. And we caught them out, and if you look on the Facebook page as well, you'll see them on there,
So that part of the land, I don't know. I don't know whether because that's
You were going to look into it because I got an injury, didn't I?
I got beat
I've got
by
loads of good photos of that, of it all into the ground.
Yeah, so they've tried to hide some of the vehicles down here.
You get an injury, it just disappears into the nerve.
So when I asked the question, in terms of who's responsible for that wire, it's local authority.
Yeah, they've actually made a conscious decision to try and hide the vehicles in this little gap
Why
here.
MBR got radar on the outside then? Are they not breaching legislation?
I would imagine that they are, but that's not something that the police would do. It's almost like trespassing. I would, in your first, thinking on my feet, there's that meeting tonight.
Yes, there is. I'm going to be there. Are you going to be there?
I'm bloody not. No chance.
I've got some pictures of my feet if anyone wants them.
Make a note of stuff that you're going to say, not that.
Oh,
The
biggest one.
that you've got a really, really helpful PLT that comes down.
Yeah.
Maybe that'd be your first point. Okay.
Luna, you can tell him what all these things are. You know more about it than me. With the drone.
Don't distract.
Waste of
I'm
what
easily
though?
distracted.
All the sawdust and
Well,
golf.
let Luna
What, like the bedding and stuff?
They don't have
Luna will be able to tell you everything that you need to know about that
What we
drone.
after?
What's in the skip?
Oh, that's all the bedding. They have like strips of paper, crap, and sawdust. Yeah, these are all the puppy sheds to your left.
Right.
I guess to.
So do you know
That's the
that?
storage.
You know that kids' toy car thing
Oh,
there?
that's their exercise area that they don't get to go in. Now, I thought that was actually workers bringing their kids to work and letting them play in there, because underneath there they've got Kid Wendy House.
Yeah, I see that.
The plastic ones and that.
An example from this morning.
But further down, like sort of up here, between them sheds there, that gap,
Yeah, I saw that.
that's all the, like, you can see a lot more clearer all them toys, which is just really ridiculous.
But it makes it look good, don't it, when they've got all that there?
You know, it's just, it never moves. Occasionally, kids slides, little tags cars, plastic playhouses.
Yeah. I bet if you zoomed in on that, you wouldn't see no scratches on it at all, would you? No damage. No mark.
And little ride-on car there next to that blue round shell.
No.
Like, they're those tiny little plastic ones, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what's the dog going to do with that.
Yeah.
They don't do anything.
By all means.
It don't make sense, that's for sure.
No, because I honestly believed that workers were bringing their kids into work with them, and that's what that area was.
What about all this stuff in the skip there?
So that's like all the plastic and that.
Delete this, you know, your role as PLT, I can't remember the exact wording, but
That's all the wrappers for the bedding, the puppy food, the adult food. Oh, there's many adult foods. There's all sorts in there. They had lamb milk, so lambing formula for weaning, broad spectrum antibiotic box was in there. And there's the other play area, which is just an absolute mess. So those blue like thingies. So they put all the food in there. The bedding, dirty bedding goes in there. Clean bedding goes in there, and they're left outside all night. They're rusty on the inside, but they still put the food and the bedding and everything in there.
And then does a forklift lift them up into the skip? And
No, they're on wheels, so they just wheel them in, so then they can tip them, so they look like little.
Oh, so it's the
buckets.
clean stuff, not dirty stuff.
For all of it. Dirty bedding goes in there when they need to empty it into there. Clean stuff goes in there. Dog food goes in there.
So you don't often get somebody next to you that knows all about what's happening on the site, so that was good. It's normally me trying to guess, but we can clearly see how this place stretches all the way back there, look. And they've got loads more land on the right-hand side for expansion, so. And we can see the emergency exit at the back, but strangely that don't lead to anywhere. So as I'm standing outside, loads of vehicles are papping for their support. So while we're up in the air, let's do a 360 to see what's around this place. Right in the middle of nowhere, look. Surrounded by lovely countryside. Imagine living there though. I bet you can hear all the dogs barking when the wind's blowing in your direction. Nice house as well.
Well, they had a couple of cars. Yeah, I can't remember. It's from that is.
And there we have it. So let's get David back in to continue the video.
NBR monsters! You're going to hell!
No one's there.
They might be letting someone in. Look at him.
Oh, you're a puppy killer. You're a puppy killer. You're all puppy killing murderers.
No life after year!
You are murdering sentient life in there. Puppies, the innocent puppies.
You can say no to your agency! Security!
Animal killers. Disgusting human behaviour.
So yeah, they really have got a nice setup here. Made it really comfortable for them. Loads of seats and benches, and they've got their own little memorial there of somebody that passed away. And they've even got their own cameras and internet signal. So yeah, you can really set up camp here for a long period of time. So yeah, a puppy farm, eh? Really nice people. They've set up a right permanent camp here to get the voice and the message through. So if you want to join them in their mission to close this place down at Camp Beagle, they do welcome everybody to come down and join in and show their support. And there's obviously the petition there that they're trying to get to 100,000 signatures. That will then force the debate in Parliament. So the link to the petition, I keep on saying partition. The link to the petition is in the description. So they really want to get to that 100,000 mark. So if you can just add your signature onto that, that will be highly appreciated. But yeah, I'll leave that video there. And I think we have an illegal vehicle coming down here with no number plate, so we may as well get it on camera. There he is, Y188BLB. So all you constables watching, no front number plate. There you go. Will you do anything about it? I don't think so. So yeah, I'm going to leave that video there from Camp Beagle. If you have enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up for me, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.